Hi, I'm Mark. This is my video from my portfolio for the EdTech program at Boise State University. A little bit about myself. I'm from Idaho, which has been great because that means I get to go to Bronco football games, which I'm doing tonight. I get to meet some of my professors sometimes. I can go camping whenever I feel like it, if I have the time, which I don't because of this program. I live here in Idaho with my wife Delana and our 5 children, John, Cooper, Ella, Seth, and Cole. It's been a fast 2 years, a lot of projects, some late nights, but it's been quite rewarding and I've learned a lot. Here's a little bit of what I've been doing since I started this program. One thing that I've relearned is that when things are new, they never go as fast as you think they will. The final project for EdTech 512 was a great example of this. For the online course I designed, I chose the subject of baking bread with wild yeast, and I filmed instructional videos of myself making bread. I'm not the most domestic guy in the world, so I'd never baked bread before. At least not this kind with wild yeast. But the topic caught my eye, and I could see potential in it for a class. I'd also never made instructional videos before, so I had to learn a lot. Learning to bake bread and learning about video both took much more time than I had anticipated. Yeast starts for baking aren't too hard to do, but you have to know a couple of tricks to make them work right, and it took me almost a month just to get to that. That's alright though, because like most people, I learned by doing. I learned to grow the yeast start, then I learned how to mix and knead the bread, and to give it time to rise or proof. I learned to bake the bread as well. This was really a constructionist project for me, because I learned most from making something, just like it'll be for my hypothetical learners. The video was a real learning experience. I think it's important to acknowledge areas for improvement. Without the ability to find weaknesses, we risk never improving. And this was certainly one area that could be improved. I needed better lighting, a better script, and much better camera work. It occurred to me while working on this that in spite of my struggles with video, I would like to learn more about it and work with it some more. I think that a class on video could be very valuable to the EdTech program, with things like Flipping the Classroom, Khan Academy, Lynda.com, and YouTube, where my son Cooper is learning magic tricks. It seems that video is becoming one of the most important aspects of educational technology. 1 or 2 classes on video could be really nice and would likely attract many students. One thing that I felt I did well with this course on bread was to keep the class organized in a simple, easy to understand format. I found that in my time as a student, the classes that were best organized caught my attention the most and were the ones I learned from the best. So I tried to keep this course well organized. Even simple things like making certain that the class materials are in the same order for each lesson can make a difference to students becoming comfortable with the class material. Another project that I would like to review was the course I created for EdTech 506. The course topic that I selected was Online Course Design Fundamentals. And I was interested in this topic because I had discovered that creating courses was interesting to me, and I wanted to learn more about the topic. I've always believed that few writers or filmmakers are much good without decent editors. This class demonstrated to me that this also holds true for educational technology. One of the requirements in creating this online course was to have each design reviewed by another person before submitting it. Feedback I got from my wife and from other students helped to greatly improve the course. For example, for one graphic I created the tagline, "The online courses work best if your students live." I wrote this to try and make the point that we often design courses for the network and not for anyone in particular. Of course, this only makes sense if you're thinking too hard. My wife's common sense helped me to correct this line, and I found that extra eyes on a project help. I enjoyed the process of taking something complex and trying to make it understandable and memorable. In some of my best work, I feel like I have achieved this. For example, in the graphic I created for the Dick and Carey model, I tried to discern the heart or the main idea of the model, and then link it to something memorable. I decided that the main idea of the Dick and Carey model, or the heart of it, was revision. I tried to find something memorable to link it to, and thought about it for a while. Considered a car, an engine, a hand and glove, and then I tried to think of other more memorable images. I thought of Dr. Frankenstein's model. It occurred to me that this monster won't work without a heart, just like the Dick and Carey model won't work without revision. Then tried to find the most realistic and memorable image of the monster possible, and I think this one works. Finding something simple yet memorable is important in helping the concepts of any online course stick with the student. My favorite project in the EdTech program was the virtual tour I created for EdTech 502. I decided that I wanted to show my learners the Owyhees. The Owyhees are a mountainous area in the southwest corner of Idaho and the eastern portion of Oregon. I've gone out to the Owyhees since I was a very young child and have always loved the area, and maybe this is one of the reasons I enjoyed the project so much. Also, it made a good excuse to take some of my children exploring so that I could get more pictures. I really wanted my students to experience the different locations in the Owyhees: Celebration Park, Silver City, the Jordan Craters, and Leslie Gulch. The design principle I used was to make the images on the tour as immersive as possible. To do so, I made the images as large as possible on the screen by taking up the entire browser window. I put the text for the tour at the top in a semi-transparent box so that it would hide the smallest portion possible of the picture. To move from screen to screen, I placed 5 circles at the top in the center and used JavaScript to allow the learner to click on the circles to move to the next step of the tour. I used JavaScript to create collapsible menus that I placed on each side of the screen. To help the learner explore, we placed maps in our project so that the user could click on a link and then decide which place to see, how to get there, and what the place looked like from the air. They could go from Jordan Craters to Leslie Gulch to Silver City to Celebration Park and look at the aerial view and zoom in. This is a zoomed in aerial view of Silver City. I felt that this tour successfully introduces the learner to this beautiful and wild region of Idaho. One of the things that I've learned about educational technology by going through this program is that class participation doesn't always come easily. For example, I've always been somewhat of a solitary learner. I like others and find that I work well with them when I'm in a professional environment, but I can isolate myself when working on an online course. This is an image of where I study, by myself. When I was going to a traditional university, attending class forced me to interact with the other students and the professor. Questions were brought up, and topics which I had not considered were discussed. This was a valuable part of my undergraduate years. Going forward after this program, I'm particularly interested in the topic of participation. There are tools out there that do encourage participation. Emails, forums, and class requirements for participation are helpful, but I don't know if these are a complete answer. Going forward, one of the things I want to think about and learn more about is how to get students, how to help students to better and more meaningfully interact. I am grateful for the chance I have had to be part of this program, and for those who have helped me along the way. This experience has been personally enriching, and I look forward to learning even more about this discipline as life goes on. Thank you.